Was it fate or something far darker? This is Breakup Cheater, where we untangle the knots of real-life betrayal, hidden truths, and moments that shatter everything you thought was solid. If you're new here, welcome. Make yourself at home. Hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from, whether it's a city skyline, a quiet village, or just your favorite place to think. I read every single one. Now settle in, because today's story will leave you questioning how well we ever truly know the people closest to us. It all started with a single look. Marcus could still remember the way his wife froze at the door. It was subtle, barely a pause, but something in her eyes shifted. Weeks later, he would come to understand exactly what that look meant. And by then, everything he thought he knew about trust, about love, about her, would be gone. Marcus had always had a gift for reading people, not in a flashy or extroverted way, but in that quiet, intuitive manner, picking up on pauses, tones, body language. It made him good with people, careful with friendships, precise in the bonds he allowed to grow. So when he started his new job and was paired with a guy named Chase, their connection was almost instant. They bonded over obscure 90s alt rock, vintage basketball games, and a dry sarcasm that flowed effortlessly between them. It felt easy, genuine. Before long, they were grabbing lunch together, texting late into the night during NBA playoffs, and catching drinks on Saturdays like old college friends. Natalie, Marcus's wife, encouraged the friendship. She'd always wanted another couple to hang out with, someone they could cook for, laugh with, share holidays. So when Chase mentioned his girlfriend, Bella, it felt like perfect timing. Natalie offered to host dinner. Marcus remembered how peaceful that evening had felt at first. He'd watched her hum as she set the table, wearing that soft blue dress he adored. She lit candles, adjusted the plates just right, and smiled at him over her shoulder. Their life felt full, simple, stable, soft around the edges. Then the doorbell rang, and everything changed. Marcus saw it the instant she opened the door. Natalie's face didn't contort or gasp. There was no drama, but she froze, just for a second, like her breath had caught in her chest. Her eyes locked on Chase's, and something ancient flickered across her face. Recognition, maybe even grief. Then, just as quickly, it was gone. She smiled, her voice smooth, her laughter easy. Bella chattered happily beside her, none the wiser. Dinner went on. The food was warm. The wine flowed. Chase told stories about his high school basketball days that had everyone in stitches. Natalie laughed too, sometimes a little too hard. She was gracious, lively. But every now and then Marcus caught her glancing Chase's way, just a flicker. Something careful, something buried. By the time dessert was served, Marcus was convincing himself he'd imagined it. But that flicker rooted itself in his memory like a thorn. Later that night, as they cleared the table, Marcus gently asked, "What was that at the door? You looked surprised to see him." Natalie smiled and shrugged it off, said she felt lightheaded, nerves, maybe, nothing strange. But Marcus's gut said otherwise. Still, he let it go. Their friendship with Chase and Bella deepened. Hikes, brunches, game nights. It was the kind of life people envied. The gut feeling never quite left, but it dulled until the day everything came apart. That morning, Natalie mentioned she had a doctor's appointment. Marcus kissed her goodbye, caught up in work, and thought nothing of it. Hours later, something small shifted. Chase wasn't at his desk. A passing comment from Marcus's manager made his stomach drop. Chase had a doctor's appointment too. Same morning, same time. Marcus froze. He remembered that flicker in Natalie's eyes the night they met Chase. It came flooding back, sharp and cold. But he didn't accuse. He didn't spiral. He watched. He asked careful questions, innocent ones. Where Chase was from, who he used to date, stories about his hometown. And then came the moment the floor dropped from beneath him. Rockford. Chase had grown up in Rockford, Natalie's hometown. Chase mentioned a diner Marcus knew from Natalie's old stories, a hiking trail, a small-town fair. The puzzle pieces clicked into place with terrifying precision. They hadn't just met. They had a history, a long one, but neither had said a word. Marcus stayed silent, but now he watched her like someone watching a stranger. The way she spoke about Chase, Always careful to say they or that team. Never his name. It was deliberate, measured, and now glaringly obvious. Then came the lie that cracked the surface. Natalie said she was in meetings all afternoon. Marcus, no longer trusting anything, drove to her office and waited across the street. He watched the entrance. Minutes turned to an hour. No sign of her. Then suddenly tap tap, she was at his car window. Said the meeting had moved. She stumbled over her words. They drove home in silence. Inside, Marcus turned to her with cold stillness. How do you know Chase? Natalie paused. Lied. We met at dinner, remember? His voice sharpened. Stop lying. Her shoulders dropped. And then, like a dam cracking, she whispered the truth. We dated. In high school. For 2 years. It ended. I didn't think it mattered. Marcus stood still, a storm building inside. Him, have you seen him alone? Her lips parted. Once, she whispered. We just caught up. It wasn't serious. How does he have your number? She looked down. He found me on Facebook. The next question came sharp and clean. Did you sleep with him? Her head snapped up. No. Of course not. But Marcus no longer believed her words. He took her phone, scanned everything. No texts, no calls, just silence. And somehow that silence felt more damning than any message ever could. He walked out. He found Chase alone at a bar and didn't raise his voice. Just looked him in the eye and said, My wife told me you slept with her. Tell me the truth. Chase didn't even argue. His eyes dropped to the floor. It was a mistake. He muttered. It only happened once. Marcus felt the world shift. His breath left him in shallow bursts. Chase added quietly, it brought up old feelings. But we stopped. I swear. Marcus said nothing. He just walked away. Back home, Natalie was waiting tearful, shaking. But Marcus didn't yell. He didn't break. He simply packed her things. Then he handed her the phone. Call Bella. Tell her. Natalie sobbed. But she obeyed. Her voice trembled as she confessed. Bella hung up without saying a word. Marcus called her a cab. As he loaded her bags, Natalie stood in the doorway, her eyes filled with pleading sorrow. He didn't speak, just one word, disappear. And then he closed the door. Within days, Marcus resigned from the company. Chase was quietly let go not long after. Bella filed for divorce and vanished from their circle entirely. Natalie reached out messages, voicemails, emails. None were answered. There were no second chances, no redemptions. Just two shattered couples for broken lives, and one lie that poisoned everything it touched. So what do you think? Could you have forgiven her, or would you have walked away too? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more stories that cut deep and stay with you, check out the next episode on Breakup Cheater.